Hello, World Doll Day friends. This is Michael Canadas with the Grovian Doll Museum and the Carmel Doll Shop. We are off-site right now, and I wanted to share with all of you one of my summer projects. A lot of the collection in the Grovian Doll Museum has been there for 10 or 11, 12 years now. And slowly we changed the displays and bring in new items so that it's interesting when our groups and tours and whatnot come. But that does create a problem of what do we do with the girls or boys or ladies and gentlemen when their time of display is up. So I guess they go back to where they originally were, which is in our home. So we're going to share with you today some tips of display tips of how to deal with problematic children, such as Mademoiselle Marie. She's not in herself a problem, but what it is her items. So I'm going to invite you into our space, and I'm going to set her down, and then I'll share a little bit with you. If you are subscribers to Antique Doll Collectors Magazine, you might have a 2007 issue of Antique Doll Collector, which is now quite a few years ago. But doll magazines have about a 20-year shelf life. So you've probably got this in your collection, and you can read about her. So the issue with her, and I will tell you a little bit about her. She is a Francois Gautier doll. Most likely retailed by Maison Guillard, which was the purveyor to the Imperial Prince, which was one of the top stores in Paris in the 19th century. And she is a mid-1860s lady doll made by Francois Gautier for Maison Guillard. And it's a very unusual face, really different. We'll move and let you come in close. And what is amazing about the doll, besides the rare face, unusual body, is her trousseau of magnificent clothes and accessories. One, which I should show you so that you realize why she's a problem. Look at the scale of her skirt. So this is mid into the late 1860s. And I should point out, this is one of my favorite bonnets that she has. This is a spoon bonnet. It's basically shaped like a spoon, but it is engineered. It is an amazing, it has tarlatan, it has wire, it has buckram, it has gauze and whatnot. Now, a few of these items that are out here, right here, that's because she is now spending her time in a tableau that is across the room. So these work with the room. But where her goodies are in this chest of drawers. We came up with the idea for this chest of drawers using it this way because we had this footstool here, which there wasn't really a reason for it. There was no justification. And I like to have everything have a reason. There isn't anything we have that we don't use. We don't put our foot on. We don't, we're not the fancy type, even though it might look like that. So what I realized is this makes a great place to perch yourself when you go to look at the display that we've set up in this chest of drawers. Shall we have a look? So you're in our, as I said, our lounge area. This is where we watch television, sometimes take a meal on a TV tray and watch TV and have dinner. And there have been many times in our lives that this space has been loaded with bulldogs, up to 3 at a time. So we had this chest of drawers, which is one of our favorite items, and it is Italian and it is known as a La Capovera La Capovera is the art form. And what they did is they took furniture and then they painted it, and they then would apply engravings and then paint the engravings and then lacquer the whole thing together. So it's a very interesting piece of furniture, lots of nice colors. You know, you don't have to worry about if it gets nicked or chipped. It just adds to the character of the piece. So this was here for many, many, many years, just filled with unimportant things. And then one day I had the idea, why don't I clean this out, get rid of the unimportant things, and use it to display a wardrobe of doll clothes. So that's what I did. So drawer number 1 houses the reds and the grays. So in Marie's wardrobe, she has this amazing ball gown. And I should point out that her wardrobe is really in two eras, mid and then going to the late 1860s. So this is starting to change slightly into the later 1860s. But this is a beautiful ball gown with a silk skirt covered with a almost muslin-like frothy overlay, then trimmed with ribbon and the most tiny soutache trim. And in this she has some wonderful red themes, accessories, such as a super rare binocular holder and a single binocular with rubies, faux rubies, but they're never, I like to call them rubies, and a wonderful beaded bag. And as I said, this doll was retailed by Maison Guillard, but there are some very interesting pieces that were bought elsewhere, such as this wonderful little traveling case, Poupée Model Hanky, a handkerchief box, which is really lovely, filled with wonderful things. If I could get it open, I'll show you. There you go. Nice hankies. And then this very interesting one-piece silk file dress, trimmed with real interesting trim, and then black chantilly lace. The costumers, look how they used the lace. Here we've got one little bit that's come undone, so you can see it's just two pieces with the headers running into, batted up to each other, and then covered with this rope trim. A nice little perfume set, and a really nice, I'm about to sneeze. I guess it's a little dusty in here. I vacuumed for all of you, so that's probably why that's about. And a very nice parasol. And a necessary thing, a hot water bottle, which would be very important, playing cards, and a nice handmade book. So this is what's in the first drawer. So it has its original paper lining, which I need to repair it in a few places. It's a wonderful print, which would be fantastic in a dollhouse. But I will say that when people come here, they love to look at this and just sit in this little stool in front and go through it. And I allow them to touch the items. It's not like we have, 100 people coming a month. It's, here and there that we have guests over that are doll people. If they're not doll people, I just keep the doors closed. And then there's a nice little holder for a hanky, and that would go on their belt. So I'm going to move to the next drawer. So we're on to the second drawer, and this has some of my favorite items in the drawer. So the theme in this drawer is green and blue, and I never thought that those two colors went together until our friend, the founder of the Toy and Miniature Museum in Kansas City, it was her favorite combination. So she convinced me. So the first dress that I think is really special is this princess line one piece. This is later in the 60s, and there's quite a few of these in Marie's wardrobe. And it's just a beautiful natural color silk with green buttons and trims. And I would imagine when it was new, it was probably a more vibrant green. And then this really outstanding parasol. It's one of her bests. And we have another binocular, but this with emeralds. A lovely piece. And Marie has lots of boxes, and this one's one of my favorites. And then a great pair of terry shoes in plaid, gold and green, and then a bright green, emerald green trim. And I will show you that this box is filled with treasures. Obviously, the needlepoint slippers are a real treasure. Another sewing necessaire, emerald and pearl earrings, which those I believe are the real deal, and a faux necklace, and a nice little bracelet, a couple of sets of blue earrings. Now, the interesting thing about this doll is she does not have pierced ears, but you can just hang earrings from her wig, and that works perfectly. And a little book of fables, which is really, you can count on a fable or a prayer book in a French Fashions wardrobe. Then the famous bleached English towels that if you've seen Marie Trousseau's book, you will notice that she has a set in her book. So this is a very normal thing that you might find in a doll's wardrobe, a set of towels, and another necessaire. And this one looks a shoehorn, which is a very rare piece, hairpins, which look like they're practically handmade, and brushes. We think of brushes as just having to do with hair, but these are toothbrushes, hairbrushes, and a clothing brush, which is a really important part of keeping in the era when you had coal dust, sooty, that would keep your clothes nice. There wasn't the amount of cleaning to clothes that we do now. And of course, a few whites are in here. A lot of them she's wearing right now. And it looks like another summer type basket. So let's see if I can open it. Can I? Oh, more toilette pieces, a comb, brush, and a periodical, and a hand mirror. Now, these are really important pieces historically. We have two hats that are from the most famous street in Paris, Rue de la Paix. That was where the House of Worth was. So she has two of these bonnets. These are bonnets. I call them hats, but they're bonnets. If it covers the ear, it is a bonnet. And they're simple straw, but that label really puts them in a whole different level. Now, I love this pair of gloves. I think that they're so sensational. They're not fresh, but they are still really very important. And you notice the hat box is the Hire green, even though this is not a Hire doll. That was a very popular color at the time, and other companies followed suit and started to use it. Then we have a two-piece a day suit with a humongous skirt. Think of as big as the one that the doll's wearing, and that's how big it is. And then this Eugenie blue bodice, and a wonderful hair ornament. You could call it a snood today, but it's basically would be called a hair ornament in its time. And a great, great, great pair of terry shoes. And how you know if they're terry shoes is they're marked on the bottom with a T. It's a little T in a frame. And Terry was actually a shoemaker for people. So these were one of their side hustles that I'm sure if you went to their shop, you could buy them, or they supplied them to other stores. But very, very high quality. And Thierry made shoes for the Empress of France. So they're very important pieces of history. And then we've got more blue accessories, a beautiful pale blue turquoise necklace of natural turquoise, and a nice spyglass, pocket watch, another pince-nez, a couple of them, and a beautiful cobalt or navy blue, I guess it is. Well, not quite navy. Parasol, picnic basket, because that would be an important part of a wardrobe or social activities. And then a gauzy green and white striped day dress with a red belt. And I believe that the hat that she should be wearing this with is in the drawer above. And then let's see what's in here. I forgot. Okay, more. I better pull it out. You will never see it if I don't. More brushes. She's got lots and lots of brushes. And hair combs. What I mean by hair comb is decorative hair combs. So maybe on that note, maybe I should look and see what's in here, because I forget. So let's see. There may not be anything. No, I don't think. Oh, whoa. Well, I guess I was wrong. So the first thing that I'm going to say I think is really special is that vinaigrette, which was that little, looks like a rattle, but it's a vinaigrette. You put vinegar water and you'd hold that up to your nose and it would take care of any of the bad odors, which there were plenty in the 19th century. Forget-me-not flowers. One of my favorite things, her crumb duster, and which is that, looks like a shovel, but that's for table crumbs. Butterflies are always a attractive thing to me because we live in Butterfly Town, USA. So I always look for butterflies. A nice pair of white gloves and a pair of blue silk velvet house slippers, some perfume, and it looks like a game. So this was a good find to find this this box. And it looks like there's a decorative handkerchief, maybe a couple of them. So that was really a good find. So I think I've gone through all of what's here, and it's really kind of a nice little little treasure trove of goodies. Now I have, just showing you this, I've made it look like a robbery, so I will go and neaten it up before I move to the next drawer. So I have her bottom drawer, so this is the third drawer, opened, and this is where I've done it again by color. So we've got black and purple and a little bit of, kind of a brick color. But what's interesting here is we have basically the same pattern as the green and natural colored silk one-piece princess line dress. And this is in black taffeta, black and white taffeta striped. We're in the mid-60s to the later 60s. This stripe becomes a very popular, fashionable statement. Then we also have a jacket that can be used with mixed and matched with other pieces. this mourning wrapper, I guess you could call it, of outstanding construction. Again, one piece, beautiful lover's knot, or knot designs, not lover's knot. I think that means it's infinite, but with a little chain decoration, and to scale everything, the buttons, and I believe that the buttons are actually gutta percha, and beautiful, beautiful lines of this piece. Two very practical weather-related umbrellas, parasols if you like, but these are for the real deal of winter rains or summer rains, or just rainy days, not for complexion. And then a two-piece ensemble. This is, I believe, her only wool piece, and it's a bodice with a silk skirt, and it's got very interesting back decoration. And the silk skirt, similar in cut to the one, the suit that she's wearing. And then we have her toilette, her pitcher and bowl, her toothbrush holder, her soap dispenser, and probably her jar for the cleaning solution for her teeth. And then a beautiful box from London that has all kinds of interesting labels to it. I don't believe there's anything in it, so it was probably some kind of a powder at one time. And then these are very interesting shoes. These are most likely for summer wear, could possibly be even beach type wear, even though she doesn't have a beach costume. Although you could say that maybe this cotton dress could be worn to the beach. And then we have I don't advocate fur, but if it's old fur, and this is a wonderful seal muff with a black ribbon, kind of beautiful bow to it. Black ribbon sometimes fades to this brownish color, but it was originally, I'm sure, black. And then one of, I think, the rarest accessories that we have in our collection is this. This is a glove box, and it is for gloves, and it is translates to gloves for my doll. So in the world of fashion and historical items, a glove stretcher, which is that device on the top of the box lid, that is a glove stretcher. This is not a rare item to find, but most antiquarians actually don't know what one is. But you can find these, and they're very interesting. You would put that into the finger of the glove, and then you would open it like a tong, and it would stretch out the leather so that your fingers would fit in. As I said, they're not that rare in human size, but in doll size, they are, I think, one of the rarest French fashion accessories that there is, in my opinion. And I've only know of 3 of these boxes that are around. There's probably more, but that's what I know of. And it's the only one we have. So Marie's pretty lucky to have it. And then she's got some basic hats, just a little painted straw. And I do advocate that make a straw hat and then paint it with a flat paint. It makes a very interesting, historically accurate finish for a hat. She's got some beaded bags, and then she's got some, which I think are fairly rare, pieces that go wooden. They have a name, but I've forgotten the name, that go into the shoe. And a couple of white pieces, not a lot. Mostly her items are color. So this is her last drawer, and it's a very nice way to, I check the drawers regularly to make sure everything's okay, that there's no no pests have gotten into them. But basically, it's in darkness until I'm ready to look at it, which really actually helps preserve it. And every 10 years or so, I might change her clothes. But I'm not a big one on that. Once I've kind of put her in a outfit that I like, any doll, I'll leave it there for quite some time. It might take a holiday or something like that to change. So I'm going to close this drawer if I can, and I need to soap it, which those of you that don't know how to do that is you take a bar of soap and you just put it on the runners of the drawers and they will fly open. So the last thing I'm going to show you is what I didn't show you, is that why I'm reminded that, that she's even here in this room is we have this reliquary for a bridal bouquet or a bridal coronet that is kind of shaped like a piece of furniture. And we've put all of her red themed accessories in the reliquary so that way I can enjoy them. They're not going to get ruined by the light, except maybe the fan, which I need to put that away for a bit. So we have a beautiful beaded sewing basket, a beautiful crown to go with her red and cream ball gown. We have a fairy's wand, so if she wants to go to the party as a fairy, we have that. And of course, her lovely fan, which is really outstanding. And of course, a prayer book, because French fashion dolls have to pray for more things. She's got that. A couple of really beautiful handmade books, which are outstanding, fairly early too. And a red garnet. Those are real garnets that are faceted as a necklace. A dance holder, or a dance card, excuse me, which holds the dance for the ladies. And just some simple red beads. And one of my favorite items, favorite of all times, is this gilded mask, which I think is fantastic for a mass ball. A very nice bracelet, commercially made bracelet, which I think is super. And bits and pieces of, I won't pull out, but little bits and pieces of little necklaces and whatnot. So this is where I put these items, and as you know, you can kind of figure out the drawers are fairly full. And this gives me something nice to look at the end of the day, and I do marvel at it. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing my summer project. This is a lot of fun to do. Any of you can find little items like this to highlight special things. Anybody can find a chest of drawers. If you don't have one, you can add one in. You can find it at an antique show, an estate sale. And, you know, a piece like this doesn't have to be just for the obvious thing that it was created for. You can use it for whatever you like. And I know my friend Mary Harris Francis actually put on her drawer displays, she put a glass top on it. So there would be a little thing in each corner to kind of keep the glass in place, and it worked really well for her. So anyways, doll friends, we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button.